Did you know that between 2020 and 2023, California lost nearly 800,000 residents? That's right, despite the fact that California's population has steadily been increasing since its first big boom in the late 1800s, these last few years have seen the reverse, an unprecedented decline. While a number of cities have seen declines, some have been hit significantly worse than others. So today on Across the Globe, we're going to be looking at the California cities that everyone is leaving. For a state with a population of about 39.24 million, that 800,000 person loss we mentioned earlier is pretty significant. Experts blame this decrease on a variety of factors. For starters, California has seen its cost of living skyrocket in recent years, with housing in particular becoming extremely expensive. As a result, this has driven some people out of the state entirely. Additionally, natural disasters like wildfires and shifts in employment opportunities and lifestyles have contributed to this decline. There's a number of other factors at play as well, but those are some of the most relevant ones. All right, let's get into the list. Number 5, San Jose. Recently, San Jose, which is located in the heart of California's Silicon Valley, saw a 3.8% loss in its population. All in, that means that in recent years, San Jose has fallen from being the 10th most populated city in the US to the 12th. Although this shift didn't happen overnight, it's definitely raising alarm bells. For instance, the population loss was so alarming to officials of San Jose that the city's mayor, Matt Mahan, called the decline a wake-up call. Like we'll see later with many of the other cities on this list, a large part of San Jose's population loss has to do with the increase in cost of living, particularly when it comes to housing. For example, in San Jose, the recent median home sale was $1.35 million. I probably don't need to tell you that's significantly above the national median home sale, which was about $422,000. In other words, the cost of a home in San Jose is almost $1 million more expensive. As you can imagine, this high cost of living has led some to seek affordable housing options elsewhere. Additionally, the pandemic caused a shift towards remote work, also resulting in people moving out of the city. As we'll see later, this is the case for a lot of tech-centered cities like San Jose. And as the president of a prominent San Jose think tank noted, remote work opportunities in the tech industry mean that people can often retain their same salary without having to endure the sky-high costs in places like San Jose. Another contributor may have to do with immigration. Specifically, some note that because immigration decreased during the pandemic, this also led to smaller population gains than would otherwise be expected in the area, further contributing to the city's declining population. Finally, while not necessarily a direct cause of San Jose's population loss, there has been decreased interest in the area by large companies. For instance, in 2021, Google won a bid to build an 80-acre campus that would include 7.3 million square feet of office space in San Jose. This massive project was estimated to have a total economic impact of $19 billion in the area. However, Google has since delayed the project, and the result is that there is a massive demolition zone in downtown San Jose. As you can imagine, it's kind of an eyesore. Such delays, even though they may only end up being temporary, can discourage future residents and businesses from relocating here and might even cause some to leave. Number 4, East Palo Alto. While the Bay Area as a whole has lost population in recent years, there are specific cities within it that have seen larger declines than others. And although historically the Bay Area has been a magnet for people looking for opportunities in tech and innovation, we've seen some of that change in recent years. Specifically, East Palo Alto is a city that has seen a significant recent decline in its population. Between 2020 and 2022, East Palo Alto lost 5.2% of its population. For context, the population of the city is a little under 30,000. Another interesting thing to note is that the city is losing its population of children in particular. For instance, East Palo Alto saw its share of those under 18 drop 6.5% recently, from 31.9% to 25.4%. According to the San Francisco Chronicle, much of the explanation for this is that a high cost of living is causing families to relocate elsewhere. While the cost of a home in East Palo Alto is less than San Francisco as a whole, it's still far above the median cost, and in fact, is over double the national median at $870,000. As a result, young families in particular have felt the strain of these soaring prices, making moving out of the area altogether an appealing option. Additionally, as neighboring Palo Alto itself is a major hub of the tech industry, the pandemic may have caused those living in the area to leave the city once they were allowed the chance to work remotely. For instance, major companies like Hewlett-Packard, Amazon, and Uber are all headquartered or have significant office presences in Palo Alto. When the pandemic arrived, many of these companies had their employees switch to remote work, and some of this has stuck. Furthermore, it's possible that the loss of population in East Palo Alto also has to do with several major companies relocating out of the area. For instance, Tesla used to be headquartered in Palo Alto, but moved out of the state entirely to Austin, Texas 2 years ago. However, there is talk that he may be moving Tesla back to Palo Alto, but time will tell. Either way, such moves not only reduce job availability, but also may make the area less appealing overall. Number 3, San Francisco. You probably won't be too surprised to see San Francisco on this list, especially if you've watched some of our other videos. In fact, in the last couple of years, San Francisco has seen a loss of about 7.1% of its population. This decline is even more noticeable considering the city's previous reputation as a hotspot for young professionals and tech innovators. A major driver of this decline has to do with the pandemic and several associated issues. For starters, with the loss of office workers and increased office vacancies in San Francisco's downtown when much of the population shifted to remote work, the city saw a significant increase in crime, homelessness, and drug use. Many neighborhoods that were once bustling areas of activity started to feel abandoned, which affected not only individuals but also local businesses. Fed up with the city's decline, many have simply decided to leave. Secondly, the cost of living has increased significantly in recent years, and many have struggled to be able to afford to live here. McKinsey, for instance, analyzed the cost of living in the Bay Area as a whole and noted that over 1 million people, out of a total population of about 7.5 million, earn below 30% of the median income in the area. Additionally, McKinsey notes that many people spend over 75% of their income on rent. To put it into numbers just how expensive San Francisco is, consider that here utility bills are 32% more expensive than anywhere else in the US. Food is 31%, transportation is 38%, and housing can be up to 207% more costly. In terms of housing, the median cost of rent is about $3,500 a month, according to Zillow. Additionally, the median home sale in San Francisco is currently about $1.38 million. As I mentioned earlier, across the U.S. as a whole, the median home sale is significantly less at about $422,000. This major difference makes it even more clear how unattainable homeownership is for many in the area, thus pushing people to seek opportunities elsewhere. Number 2, Crescent City. It's not just Southern California cities that are losing population. Crescent City is a scenic little city perched on the edge of the Pacific Ocean in Northern California. Here you can explore the nearby redwood forests, soak in the ocean views, and stroll along the coast, all in the same day. And with a population of under 10,000, Crescent City is a tight-knit community with many people actually intimately knowing their neighbors. At this point, you're probably wondering why a city like this would see a population decline, not to mention the second highest population decline out of all cities in California with a loss of 8.1%. Well, when we look at the population decline throughout the county that Crescent City sits in, which is Del Norte County, some clues start to form. In fact, the challenges faced by Crescent City reflect the broader challenges that the county as a whole is facing. Part of this is that there have been fewer births in Crescent City and more people leaving than moving to it. The reason for that seems to be primarily the high cost of living. Specifically, the median cost of a home in Del Norte County increased by 14% in 2021 and another 4% in 2022. Another potential factor arises when we see that a significant employer in the area, Sutter Coast Hospital, has struggled to fill open positions after the pandemic. This might either indicate that people are leaving the county or that the area is struggling to attract healthcare workers in general. Number 1. Susanville. Coming in at number 1 on our list is the city of Susanville, which is located in Lassen County in California's northeast. This city saw a 16.6% loss in its population between 2020 and 2022. There are several unique factors that have contributed to Susanville's population change that differ from some of the other places on this list. For starters, Susanville was affected by the Dixie Fire that took place here in 2021, which wiped out more than 1,400 homes and other building structures. All in, the fire burned over 1 million acres, and much of this was in Susanville. This resulted in a significant number of people needing to relocate, contributing to the population decline in huge numbers. Second, Susanville lost a significant employer in June 2023 when its correctional city closed. In anticipation of this closing, many people left the city to look for work elsewhere. And considering that the correctional city employed over 45% of the population, from guards to support staff and administrative roles, it's no surprise that this contributed to the city's population decline. Thus, this unique combination of a massive natural disaster and economic downturn has placed Susanville in a tough situation and has led to its population loss. What about the places in California still worth living in?